So on today's show and tell, we've got Darren Sweet making a return visit, and I believe today, Darren, last time you showed us around the platform Ipsodeckso, and today we're actually going to get to look at one of the decks.
Yes,
So I'll let you tell me a bit more about that.
thanks, Sarah. Yeah, so today I've selected, there's about 50 card decks on Ipsodeckso, and I've selected one called Johari Go, which is a team development card deck that can be used in team meetings, whether that be operational teams, project teams, or leadership teams. And it's one that can be used quite frequently for relatively short periods of time to build up sort of trust and relationships between teams effectively for team development. And it's a dead simple one to use. So I thought what I'd do today is just quickly show the model of the Hari window that it's based on. Then after that, go into the card deck and just show you how the card deck works. So,
Excellent. Sounds good.
so shall we crack on?
Yep.
Have I got screen control?
You should have. You should
Yep.
just be able to share your screen.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly share a slide first on the Hari window, which you can probably see quite clearly there.
Yes, I can.
A PowerPoint slide. So the basic principles of the Hari window is it's often used in leadership development, but also useful for team development. But it's really about developing trusting relationships. And the concept is that you have four quadrants, and I'll just quickly go through the quadrants. So on the top left, we've got the open area. So if we're looking to develop relationships, we need to have transparency and openness between the parties of the relationship. So to have that openness, any knowledge about the parties within the open area would be known to each party. So it would be known if it was the two of us, for example, it would be knowledge if I was developing a relationship with you, I would know about myself and you would have the knowledge about me too. So that's what fits in the open area. And the idea of the Johari window is to expand the open area into the other three quadrants that sit around it, which is the blind area, the hidden area, and the unknown area. And in order to do that, I've got a little pop-up appearing on my screen. I don't know if that's going to come into the recording, so I'm just going to close it. So the blind area to the top right quadrant. So this is the area that if we were talking about myself, this is things that I don't know about myself. So it's blind. For me to find out things about myself, I need to solicit feedback from others.
Okay.
And then so to reduce the blind area, it would effectively expand the open area into the blind area. So that's soliciting feedback or getting feedback. The hidden area below is knowledge that I have about myself that isn't known to others. So to develop the relationship, I would share information about myself in order to reduce the size of the hidden area and expand the open area. And then the bottom right quadrant is the unknown area. So things that I don't know about myself, things that others don't know about me. And in order to expand the open area into the unknown area, you need to share new experiences together. So you would find out what you can learn and how you react, etc., to the new experience. But because it's a shared experience, you're all doing it together. So you're learning about each other at the same time, which is often the most difficult one to explain. So that's the basic principles of the Johari window. And then the card deck that I'm just going to do a stop share there. The card deck that I'm about to show you follows the principles of the Johari window in the same format, and it's called Johari Go. So I'm just going to, I need to go into my browser and change the screen. Into the table, back into Zoom, select and share. Okay, so can you see the tabletop, Sarah?
I can.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to expand it and get rid of the ribbon at the top so we can see everything more easily. And I'm just going to reduce my view of the two of us so I can see everything quite easily on the screen. Okay, so what we've got here.
I'd just like to mention at this step, for anybody who is looking at this and doesn't understand what they're looking at, there is a previous video which Darren and I have created which explains how to use the platform that this is being used on, Ipsodeckso, and I will put details of how to get to that video if you want to view that as well as this in the information under the video.
Brilliant, thanks, Sarah. Okay, so Johari Go is what we've got in front of us, and as you can see down the right-hand side, we've got four different stacks of cards that represent the quadrants that you saw in the Johari window.
Okay.
So we've got the open stack, which I'm now going to shuffle because we need to randomize it. And the blind stack, which I'm going to shuffle to randomize. I'm just going to scroll down and do the other two as well. So we've got the hidden stack. I love that sound effect. And the unknown stack, and just give that a shuffle as well. Now, what I tend to do when I'm using this game is I'll pull the cards out in the same format as the model of the Johari window, because it helps embed the basic principles of the Johari window at the same time. So the open stack is because obviously within the Johari window, that's the stack that we're looking to expand. And the other three are the ones that actually have actions. So this stack I've used as the control stack. So this tells the player or the participant which of the other three stacks that they need to select a card from. So what the player would do is they'd select a card off of this one first, and they place it to what would be the top left quadrant of the Johari window, and then they would flip that card over, and then that would tell them where to select from next. So this card is telling the person who's having their go at the moment, because players will take it in turns to have a go, where to select from. So this is saying select from the unknown stack. So I'm going to come down to the unknown stack, and I'm going to take a card off the top, and I'm going to place it here, which would be its natural position in the Johari window, and flip that one over. And then this would either give a topic of discussion, a question, or it might have some sort of activity that would be a pretty new experience or a new thing for people to discuss or sort of, you know, share knowledge of together, to create that kind of new shared experience. So this particular card is Powers of Persuasion, make your pitches for this month's free duvet day, and agree a winner. So effectively something that the group may not have done before, which is almost, you know, pitching something together and having a bit of fun around that. So they're having a bit of fun together, but it's just that shared experience at the same time. So that, and effectively what you would do is you would just keep going. So everybody would have a go at this, and then you'd move on to the next card and the next person, and you would give them mouse control and keep going. So should I just keep going and pull a few out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the things that are likely to pop up. So first we've got a couple of each card. So back onto the open stack. So the next player will be having a go. They pull a card off, drag it into position on the open stack, flip it over, and this is saying pull a card off of the blind stack. So go over to the blind stack, pull a card off, and place it in the position of the blind quadrant of the Johari window, and flip the card over. Okay, so how approachable do you find this person? So you see on the card in the open stack, it says group to card holder. It's an instruction that the group would actually give their feedback to the card holder here. So it just gives a little bit of guidance. So it starts a conversation. So some of the things in the blind stack, they might be quite difficult things to discuss, and then you'll be getting critical feedback. Some of the things in there might be so that you're getting positive feedback and sort of, you know, gratitude from some of the other members of the team. So it can be, you know, quite a difficult one, or it can be a really sort of nice, sort of warm and cozy feel stack, if that makes sense.
So do you have kind of instructions for a facilitator with that kind of thing in mind? Where they might be facilitating something that could be potentially difficult?
Yeah, the instructions are in the library. So I will go back and double check to make sure that that's kind of covered off. So that's that one. I'll keep going and pull a few more out so you can get a sort of basic gist of some of the things that are in there. So we've got our open stack, flip them over by clicking the little circle, and now it's saying go to the hidden stack. So the next player is going to pull one off of the hidden stack.
It won't necessarily come out in this very convenient order, will it?
It has been extremely convenient, considering I shuffled it as well. So we know that I didn't. Yeah, I had a little practice go yesterday, and it took ages for one to come up for the unknown stuff. So yeah, so on the
but I guess you don't necessarily need to pull from the blind the top stack, do you? You could just pull 4 cards, couldn't you?
Yeah, if you wanted to. Yeah. You don't have to follow the format. You could be completely random with it and do it however you like. I just choose to follow this format when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm following the format of the Johari window. So we got one here. What do you believe happens to us next with the little R?
Interesting.
Yeah, you'll also see on the cards themselves in the corners, they've got little indicators just in case people do want to use this positioning. Got little indicators here just to show where to put it in the grid format.
Yeah.
If people want to follow that format. So I tried to make it as easy to use as possible, and if people want to stick in this format. So yeah, we've got some interesting. I'll just pull a few cards off just to show you a few of the things
Yeah, sure.
that may come up. So we've got one on the unknown stack, or we've got here test your acting skill. Each other. You can't come in today because you're feeling sick.
Oh, I read this thing the other day. So there was a thing in the Guardian about the things that people are using ChatGPT for.
Oh yeah.
And there was one woman, I mean, I don't know whether she gave a real name or whatever, but she said she used it for excuses for not coming into work. So she gave it a prompt that said, you know, write an excuse for not coming into work, make it a family emergency, and you know, that's going to take about 2 days to resolve. And it just comes up with these excuses for her, and she uses them.
Wow. That's amazing, isn't it? I must have a go and have a play on ChatGPT at some point. Just the last week or so, I've been hearing so much about it.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of YouTube videos as well. There's some real fear about it as well.
Yeah.
Depending on where it is in its kind of development curve and how it could sort of impact things. So yeah, so that's essentially it, Sarah. So it's a very simple card deck to use, and it's just a case of using it regularly in team meetings to build those trusting bonds between the teams. As I said earlier, whether it's a leadership team, a project team, or an operational team, it's just a good little tool to use without too much complication for this facilitator, and quite easy for the participants to be able to use.
And it would work. It would work as an icebreaker as well, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it makes quite a nice little icebreaker, really. So yeah, that in a nutshell is Johari Go.
Very good. So, where have you used it with teams?
No, I haven't yet. I need to have a play with it with some groups of people. I was going to see if I could get it on one of your little test groups.
Yes.
But it might be better actually if I pull together a group of people that know each other a little bit, maybe an operational team, see how they go on.
So if anybody watching this is interested in maybe having their team or their group do a little test session with you, how should they get in touch?
Well, if they're watching it, they're probably going through LinkedIn, aren't they? So they can just look me up on LinkedIn and shoot me a DM. And I'll get in touch and we can arrange it, and I'll be quite happy to come on and facilitate a session. And
okay, I'll put your LinkedIn details underneath the video then.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Awesome. Now just pulling back up the picture of the two of us now so I can see you again. I don't know if that appears on the screen share or not, to be honest with you. But,
so you were saying there's some instructions for facilitators?
Yeah, so I'll just come out of that and I'll just show you. So I'm just clicking exit now and going into the deck library. I'll just come down to Johari Go. So it takes me to find it in all these card decks. I know it was one of the ones that was slightly lower down. There we go. So we've got a user guide here. So it gives basically an explanation here of the overall concept, and then the user guide in here, and then it gives a bit of advice about sort of giving mouse control, because you can rotate mouse control when you're in Zoom, or if you've got the settings right in Microsoft Teams, you can let everybody have mouse control at the same time, and then how to use the deck, and it goes through step by step on how to use the deck there. So I think I will add in a bit more about how to potentially tackle the situation if difficult feedback is given on there as well. So, but that's essentially it. And then
excellent.
Close that up.
So I noticed this is one of your gold decks.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to use this deck on Ipsodeckso, they'd need to get gold membership.
Yeah.
Go on, do you want to explain how that works?
Yeah. So essentially, if you just when you go and register, there's obviously a free membership level, so you've got access to these ones that say free on the diagonal banner. So we've got there's 5 on there at the moment. And then if you want to upgrade, you can move on to a bronze membership, which adds another 5 decks. The silver membership adds another 5 decks, and then the gold membership adds another 25, 30 more decks on top of that. And the way that I've got it set up at the moment, and I'll probably keep it this way, is that even in the free membership, you've got access to the deck builder to be able to build your own. But there might be a restriction on how many, there's not a restriction at the moment, but there'll probably be a restriction on how many decks of your own you can build within the free membership.
Okay.
And then it becomes unlimited from bronze up. But I've got a developer working on that at the moment, just to, so you can probably make, we're probably going to do it is so you can build 3 decks of your own in the deck builder.
Excellent.
So yeah, what I'm thinking of also doing is rotating some of the bronze, silver, and gold card decks through the free membership on a sort of monthly basis, so people can have a trial.
Give people a bit of a taster.
Yeah, essentially. And another thing I need to add on the website is a page with all the different card decks as well, so people can see what's actually in there before they even go into the platform. And I've got that being developed at the moment too, so people will be able to see exactly what they get within each of the membership levels. There will also be a 14-day free trial as well, so people can go into a gold membership for 14 days and see what's in there before they buy or silver or bronze.
Excellent. That's really, really interesting. I'm really liking the Johari deck, and I'm looking forward to seeing more decks.
Yeah, I look forward to showing you more of them. It's great because I've been developing them for quite a while now. So the fact that we're going to be doing these sessions means I can go back and kind of engage with the decks that I did like a year ago while I was developing them and have a little play with them. So it's yeah, it's fun to do. One thing as well, Sarah, I wanted to say to you, when we did our last session, I said when we were in the early part of the session, I said, oh, towards the end of the session, I'll show you how to do text only cards, and then promptly forgot. So it wasn't included in the video. I've added a YouTube video on the channel now, how to do that. And I've posted it on LinkedIn today, I think it was. So if you, that's to create really simple text only cards without any template.
I shall add the link to that from the other video then, just so that people can have a complete rundown on how to create their index.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
I think that's it. Shall I do a stop on the share?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and we'll be looking forward to the next one in a month's time.
No worries.
Thanks, Darren.
Good to see you, Sarah. Yay!
Yay! That was really good.
Yes, I like the simplicity of the deck that I'm just following the model.
Yeah.
And a few of the decks I've got like that. I've got quite a few in there that are, you've got a deck, you have one stack that's completely random, and then I'll create a second stack that acts as like a sort of perspective filter on whichever card comes out of the random stack to create conversation. So there's quite a few that work that way, and I've got some that work with the kind of judge card. So you'd have a X amount of players doing whatever the activity is and rotating the judge card around so everybody gets to be judge and assess whatever it is they're doing, because that's quite an easy format to follow within this platform as well. So but yes, I mean, it's difficult, I suppose, to have like maybe some of the really complex stuff that like yourself and Terry, etc., might create, because it requires counters and things, which I'm eventually going to add. So I'm working within the current limitations of the platform, but looking to develop those limitations on as we go. So we'll have tabletop, change background at some point with counters that I can pull out and select the colors of the counters. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a color, or just one, and just create more variation. So I look forward to getting all that added, but that'll be on version 2.
Yeah.
And then options to create even more variation on the games as well.
No, it's it's really good. I mean, even with relatively simple mechanics, I think it's because there's so much space that it is literally like having a table, and I think that's the real power of it. Definitely.
I've got one card deck on there where I've written it's not a fable, what do you call it?
Allegory?
It's there's another word. I'll remember it probably after this meeting. But basically, I've written a story, and it's another team development one where you use the entire space within the tabletop, and you're kind of overlapping cards, and you have to flip cards for other parts of the story, and you have to build this story up. And there's you can either, the team can either work together reading cards and moving them around, and it'll take ages, or there's actually a specific sort of, I suppose, code within that. If they discover how to do it, they can do it a lot quicker using various kind of systems. But it uses the entire kind of real estate. They have to use the whole space within to be able to get all of the cards on. It's all designed just to fit. So,
Yeah.
so it's fun to create those kind of variations as well. But yeah, I'll show you that one sometime and see if you can
Cool.
figure it.
Won't that be giving the game away though?
Yeah, probably would actually. But I suppose if facilitators are going to use it, and not everybody's going to see it, so it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, we did. Antonius and I recorded a podcast with Mason Mem on the other day, and we're both facilitators of the game that he's created, which is Evive, the leadership game. And Antonis was merrily describing how the game works on this thing, and I'm going, Antonis, you didn't realise you're giving the game away. Anyway, oh my god, I had to edit that out, obviously.
Yeah, that's quite funny. Yeah, it just creates more editing for you.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, you've just completely done us both out of a job, because now all the teams will know how to do the game.
Oh, that is quite
Funny.
Bless. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? When you want to do a demo of something and you don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
Something that does require something that's solution orientated, or kind of figuring out the system to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is how it ends, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's like giving away the ending to the mousetrap or something, isn't it? The butler did it. Well, that's ruined my evening out.
Oh, dear. I'm working on another one at the moment. I just started yesterday, actually, to one that promotes sort of divergent thinking. I'm just going to call it divergence. And so I created a lovely design for the card back yesterday, and now I've created the card face, and it's effectively it's going to be one that they use in colleges and stuff. Just, you know, when you just have random pictures of tools for everyday things, and you do the divergent thinking around other potential uses, and just put your ideas completely out there. So I'm just developing that one at the moment. That's going to be fun, just finding, I think, all the little tools and images to use for that to really get the kind of brain going.